Friends, as our good friend Casey would say, the struggle bus is real. I don't even know where my camera is. Okay, I'm up over here in this corner. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I'm just going to be sitting here talking to myself now. This morning has just been a mess, let me tell you. I need this coffee more than ever. I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself and see if any of my friends show up, see if Lisa comes back. She was in here when I attempted this earlier and I had terrible feedback and reverberation and everything. And so I had to get out. I had to get out of that live. It just was driving me nuts. So I'm trying this again. We'll see if anybody shows up. There won't be any notifications going out in a timely manner to let anybody know I'm even here. So, and now what's the camera doing turning sideways? I didn't even touch anything. Oh my gosh. I'm staying perfectly still. I'm not touching anything. I didn't get gussied up. My nose is still running from going out into the workshop to try to get internet back today. That has been a cluster. That's been a dumpster fire. Somebody's joined me. I'm sure they're laughing. This is a mess this morning, friends. Oh, that was rude of me. Sorry about that. My goodness. 2 days ago, we lost internet out here at the farm, and sometimes that happens. And I can't complain because I don't pay for my internet. My son is a host for an internet company. He has the big tower. Hello, Casey and Lisa. Hello. Guys, I'm really struggling with this internet thing. I hope it'll be done by tonight. But Papa Jim and I tried everything we could to get the internet fixed the last 24, 36 hours. I finally put a trouble ticket in. Not a trouble ticket. I emailed them. They've got a customer service thing you have to do. And, well, can you unplug this and can you plug that back in? So I do. Well, now try this. So I do. 11 o'clock at night, I get an email from them. Can you try this on this router that's out in the workshop? It's like, the coyotes are out tonight. It's cold. It's dark. The coyotes are out. I am not walking to the workshop to try to plug in whatever it is you want me to plug in to. Good morning. Good morning. I believe the majors popped in. Oh, so I got up this morning, and the first thing I get this morning is an email. It says, hello, Alicia, can you tell us how many PGEs you have connected to the routers? And it's like, that's all it says. Like, I know what a PGE is. I don't know what a PGE is. I don't even know if that was what it was a PGE. I don't know. They just sent me this thing, these techie, gurus that know all this stuff, thinking that I, a 55-year-old grandmother that's 5'2" and can't reach half the stuff that they have installed out in the workshop, is going to know what all of this is. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Denise. Good morning. Gwen is in. The chat's going, and it's so far away because I've got my cell phone in the ring light, a couple feet away from me here, so I can't read. It's not on my big, beautiful screen on my laptop, so I can see what's going on. Oh my goodness. So finally somebody sent me a picture of what it is they wanted. So I counted them, sent them the information. Then they say, okay, it looks like there's a problem with port 5 and your Ethernet cable needs to be moved to here. Can you go to the workshop? And again, the workshop's way down there and it's cold. So now I got the sniffles. So I go down there and they said, move the Ethernet cable from 5 to 4 and then to 3 and then to 2 and get back to us. Now I feel like I'm being punked. Good morning, LP. Good morning, Stevens. So I go down there and there's more than one cable plugged in to the router. I know what a router is. So I write them back and I was like, okay, silly question. Which one? The black one or the blue one? I don't know what I'm talking about. You've got to be a little bit more specific. Go out and practice. Oh, so, and of course, they don't answer you right away. they send you an email that says, thank you for your email. We got it. Somebody will be with you shortly. And then I have to wait a half an hour for them to get back to me. So my son finally came over. He says, well, it's this one. And so he moves it to all the different things. Nothing works. I have no internet here at the house. Just what I have on my phone that I'm able to pick up from the tower down the road. And finally, they wrote back to me and said, thank you for trying all of this troubleshooting with us. We'll start a trouble ticket now. And somebody will be in contact with you to set a time to come out. It's like, we just spent 36 hours trying to get it figured out. And now they're going to do a trouble ticket. But again, I can't complain because I don't pay for my internet. It's free. Yeah, that's what you deal with cable. Well, because we don't have cable, we only have internet. We don't have TV right now either. So there's no TV. I only have what I have on my phone. And so I've been trying to just limit that, because doing internet off of the towers out here is even sketchy. Lots of times we can't even keep a phone call going because we lose service so quickly here. But grateful to be here. Grateful that I made it up onto a ladder and back down without breaking my neck, because why do they install these things so high? Why? When the man showed up here to install everything, he saw my stature and my girth. Why did he install things so high so that I got to climb up on folding chairs or ladders to even see what's going on? Beats me pizza pie. But getting up was fine. It was getting back down. But I managed. Spent some time down in the workshop loving on the kitty cat that somebody dumped off the farm. Somebody dumped a kitty cat here, and so she has adopted Jim. And Jim is allergic to cats, and Jim's not necessarily a cat person, but he is now, because she loves on him every day. She waits for him to come home. And she was living outside. We don't know if she was living in a wood pile or where she was living after she got dumped off there. But he eventually moved her into the workshop. And now she has a little crock pot for heated water so it doesn't freeze. She has a kitty box that he cleans every day. She's made this big, beautiful mansion up in the hay. We've got all of the hay bales. So she's got her own little house up there. And I picked up some cat food for him the other day, and he's like, well, now he wants soft cat food for her. He wants it in a can because he wants to spoil her. So now I said, did you name your cat? And he says, yeah. And I said, well, what did you name her? He goes, Cat. Her name's Cat. Okay. All right. Good deal. Good deal. How's everybody doing? How was your weekend? How was your first few days of the week? Is everybody doing good? Let me know in the chat. People dump pets off all the time in my neighborhood. Yeah, we get it here too. We get it here too. But we were down. We had our last cat that I love so much. He took on a John Deere tractor down the road and lost. So I'm more than happy to take on this kitty. Any kitty that would get dumped here, we would not turn it away, as long as they don't go after my chickens and stuff. We got our new fiber optic internet last Monday. It's amazing. A 10-minute video upload now about 20 seconds instead of having to turn my Wi-Fi off on my phone and go outside and upload. I hear you. I'll tell you what, the phone is so, things are so questionable here where we live, Gwen, that one time I had seen a post on Facebook that really troubled me. It had me very concerned. And it was a young man in another state. I don't even know how I saw it because I was not friends with him. He was friends with a friend. And somehow I saw this post. And this post said, if I'm not here in the morning, I just want everybody to know that I love you and thank you for being in my life and not to worry. And I thought, oh my God, why is this kid, this teenager, why is he saying this? So I went on his profile, bunch of really big red flags. Now he only lived a very short distance from Columbine. And he's saying all these things in his Facebook profile. And he's showing a lot of things he shouldn't even have access to on his Facebook profile. and it's raining here. I don't know how to contact anybody that I'm worried about this kid. I'm thinking this kid's going to do something he shouldn't do, and not just to himself, the way it was looking. So it's raining. I don't have good internet. Well, I had no internet at that time. I had no internet. I just had the cell phone, little burner phone. I had to go outside in the rain. I'm not making this up. Stand on the little deck that we had and face, I think it was northwest was the only way I could stand and get a signal, and make sure that I was in between the house and the little garage that we had, and hold my phone up just so until I could get a signal, and then call 911 and have them on speaker and try to relay to them what my concern was. And they were like, well, where does this individual live? I don't know where he lives. I don't know where he lives. All I know is this is being said on Facebook right now, and I'm worried about this kid. Finally, they connected me to a police department in that state. I relayed all the information, like, well, where does he live? No, don't know. Oh my goodness. Good morning, Lisa Kalovi. So finally, but they were able to get to him. But I mean, that's just how bad the internet or the phone is out here sometimes. And I have people sometimes when I'm talking to them on the phone and I lose phone service, and I have to call them back, an hour later and say, sorry, I just got phone service back again. They're like, whatever, sure. When they come to visit me and they get here, they're like, oh my gosh, you don't have phone service. You are in like almost like a dead zone. It's like, I know. I tried to tell you this. I think my son one time was just really thinking I was pulling his leg until he got out here. So anyways, about the kid, there was like an hour later, there was a post on his Facebook because I'm trolling him now. I'm watching to see what he's doing. He's like, thanks to the person who sent the cops to my house at 7 a.m, scared the crap out of my parents. Well, at least you're still alive and you haven't gone to your school and done something stupid like you were indicating. I hope they kept a close eye on that kid. But I couldn't just sit here and not do something or say something when somebody starts putting things out there like that. But he was mad. I never told my friend it was me. I never wrote my friend and said, hey, your friend that said all those things, I'm the one who called the police on him. But I couldn't just sit there. You got to take those little red flags seriously. Kitchen table by the window to be able to get and make calls. Otherwise, no signal. You just go outside. Where I sit in the living room, I can be on the phone with you right now and be fine. And then as soon as I walk to sit down where I sit in the living room, I'll lose service. I don't know what it is about the one corner of the house. I never get service. And sometimes I do have to go stand by windows. We need a new roof eventually on this 1902 farmhouse. And I'd like to really get a nice steel roof to match the workshop and the garage. I'll probably never be able to get a phone call or make a phone call. But there are plenty of times I have to go outside. And I would say 99% of the time, it's perfectly fine. I don't mind being somewhat disconnected from the world. Doesn't bother me. But that 1% of the time that I really need it and I don't have it, it is frustrating. It really is frustrating. You were fine until the tin roof. Yeah, we'll see. I think we've got a few more years on this roof. We'll try to stretch it out as long as we can, but I'd like for it to match the rest, but I don't even know what steel prices are right now to see about matching what we've got on the workshop and on the little summer kitchen so that everything would match. And since I was so set on getting the steel roof to match, when I converted the garage into the summer kitchen, there was about 20 packets of shingles, but they were old and kind of brittle. But I sold all those, so I don't even have anything for a repair right now if I need it. And here I am telling Casey all the time, don't throw anything away when you move onto a homestead. You don't throw anything away, Casey. And here I am selling off all of the asphalt shingles. I could have made a couple of dog houses by now. Oh, my hair looks awful. It looked so cute yesterday. I did my photo shoot yesterday. It looked really cute. Now it's just looking like a mess, but whatever. It's just been a couple of those days. I had the most wonderful day with my grandkids a couple days ago. I'm just going to ramble, guys. I hope you just listen or comment, and I'll try to chime in. But it's not very often that I get my two youngest grandchildren. They're 6 and 7, and they came to spend the day with me on Monday. And this grandma, I'm not used to 6 and 7-year-olds, and they're constant. They want to do things. So, oh gosh, we did all kinds of stuff out with the chickens and the turkeys and the pig. And they collected the eggs. We did our soil sample for mysoil.com. We did all of that, and then they had a snack, and then they had lunch, and you know how the day goes, right? Busy, 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 busy. Then there was no internet to even try to find something for them to watch TV where I could just catch my breath. So we had lunch. I said, let's go for a walk. Our house is 2,500 square feet. To have the roof done was at $25K. You did it yourself for $3,000. Good morning, Easy. I've got a really good roof guy, and it'll be about 10 for us to do it. And so when that time comes, we'll sell some things around the farm or something and save up the money and get the roof done. But until then, I'm just going with what we got, and I'm saving my money to go on a trip. We'll see. Anyways, we got to the edge of the driveway. I told the kids, let's go for a walk. We got to the edge of the driveway. I said, which way do you want to go? And we can go down to the very end of the road and turn around the stop sign, or go this way to the other way to where the creek is. And they wanted to go to the creek. Of course, they wanted to go to the creek, which I kind of wanted to go to the creek too. I always walk to the stop sign and back. I'm up for trying something different. So we walked down that way, and here comes Farmer Tom and his John Deere tractor. I'm pretty sure it's the same John Deere tractor that flattened my kitty and turned him into a Frisbee a couple of years ago. Let's watch the chat that we don't do anything that's gonna get me in trouble. Let's say pew pew, okay, Major? Pew pews. So we run into Farmer Tom. Farmer Tom stops and talks to us, and then another neighbor's dog, which some of you have seen where we live, and like a neighbor's like a mile away. So we really had quite the walk. And we were talking to him, and I just said we were taking the grandkids out for a walk, and I was winking, going, gosh, I hope they take a nap when we're done. And he says, I heard rumor that at the creek, big truck going by. Hello, good morning, Lynn. He says, at the creek, there's rumor that there's a beaver that has set up a dam down there. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds interesting. So I'm thinking as we get to the creek, we'll just be able to look down and see this beaver dam, right? So we get there, and the kids are throwing little rocks that they pick out of the gravel road and throwing it. Gosh, another truck. It's getting that time of year. The farmers getting busy. I'm on a farm to market road. I can go all day without hearing one truck go by. And now we just had two. Here comes three. They're busy right now. So I'm thinking we'll just be able to see the beaver dam right there because he knows about it. Farmer Tom knows about it. So it must be right where people can see it, right? I don't really see it. I see something up the creek a little bit that might be a beaver dam. I don't know. So I told the kids, I said, when you come back tomorrow, we'll take Grandpa's binoculars with us, and we'll come back and we'll see if we can look through the binoculars to check out the beaver dam. Kids are down in the ditch. They're down the ditch, and they're on their way. I'm like, hold up. Gotta wait for Grandma. These ditches, it's not like just like walking off the side of the road. These ditches they're steep, and they're 15 feet down into the ditch and then up into the cornfields. Kids are running down them like it's no problem. I'm going down them sideways. I'm sidestepping with my little old lady walking stick. The walking sticks you take when you go hiking in the mountains? I got one of those, so I took it with me in case we came across any animals or anything. And my little 6-year-old, she says, Grandma, are you crippled? I was like, no. Anyways, I'm trying to go down this decline. I'm trying to get into the ditch. And I tell my 7-year-old grandson, I said, well, Carson, if Grandma falls and gets hurt, you're going to have to go get Farmer Tom because we're in the middle of nowhere. And he says, boy, Grandma, that's a long way to walk. I said, oh, you won't be walking. If grandma falls in this ditch because you kids have come down here in this ditch, you're running to go get Farmer Tom and get grandma some help. So I made it. I finally made it down, but the whole time the kids are like, you can do it, grandma. We believe in you, grandma. That's the sweetest thing ever. And I'm recording the whole time on my phone. So if I fall to my peril, at least I'm recording it so we can get some blooper info out of it, right? Some footage. But we go to this first thing that looks like it's probably a beaver dam. We can see where the beaver's been chewing on some little saplings. That's really cool. And then I look a little further up and it's like, oh, there's another one. So we get a little farther up the creek and there's another little tiny little dam where he's tried stopping things up, and we don't see a beaver, but we can see where the things are being chewed. And I hear almost like a little trickle of a waterfall. And I kind of look in between the trees. It's like, oh my gosh, we hit the mother lode. I said, come on, kids, let's go. And we went further up the creek and we found this big, huge beaver dam. And all across the creek, you could see where all of the trees have been felled by him chewing on all of the trees and making his dam. Very, very cool. It was so cool. And then there was another one farther than that. So, and it was really neat because there were, and I'm recording all of this, right? There are trees that were probably this big around that are shaped up into a cone shape. And then you can see where it snapped and fell over into the creek where that beaver had chewed all the way around that tree until the tree snapped. So cool. I'm telling the kids, look at this and look at that. It was like an adventure. It was so great. And I almost didn't make it back up out of the ditch. We finally made it home. The little 6-year-old, she's telling me about how much her legs are hurting. It's like, I know we had quite the journey. We're full of stickers. Everywhere when I'm walking, it's like I'm seeing insects in the grass. It's like, I hope they're crickets and not spiders. But we get home and I look on my phone and there's no footage. Absolutely no footage of the entire event. Good morning, Pam. Oh, you had the other page. I had a bunch of reverb and I had to get out of there and it was just a nightmare. Anyways, no footage of the entire thing. And I was heartbroken because I don't get to spend a lot of time with these littles. They go to their other grandma much, much more than they go here, which is fine. She's got the stamina to stay with them, you know. Your seed tray stuff is coming up. Awesome, Gwen. Or yeah, was that Gwen? Yeah, Gwen's got the seed trays. Yeah, something happened, Pam, for sure. So I was so disappointed that I didn't get all of that footage. Cannot find it on my phone at all. And I know I was recording. I double checked. So I came upstairs after they had gone home and I had some other things that I wanted to download onto the laptop. And sure enough, it downloaded onto the laptop. Where it's hidden in my phone, I don't know. But it downloaded on the laptop. So I got all of the footage of us. Oh, I'm going to put a video together, you know, even if it's just for my grandkids and the other grandma so that she can see them going and learning all about the beaver and seeing the beaver dams and all that. That was really cool. So what I'm finding interesting, and I didn't do it because I had the kids with me, is I know there's a geocache in one of those trees. If you don't know what geocaching is, it's where you use GPS on your phone and you find little hidden treasures. Sometimes they're a box and you can trade little trinkets, and sometimes it's just a piece of paper you sign. I know there's a geocache down there because I've looked it up on my phone, but I didn't do it while I had the kids with me. I'm wondering if that beaver has taken down the tree where the geocache is supposed to be, and now there might not be a geocache there. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Jennifer. Geocaching is amazingly awesome. We love it. We love it. Welcome in, Jennifer. So I don't know. Hopefully I can scroll without shutting myself out of my own live on this stupid phone. My grandson loves our creek. He went fishing yesterday. He walked the creek a couple weeks ago and found an arrowhead. Ooh, that's neat. That is really neat, Gwen. Nobody was getting in this creek today or yesterday. No, Monday. Oh my gosh, it's already Wednesday. It still had ice. When the kids were throwing gravel from the bridge, we still had ice on ours. So I told the kids, I said, you're not going to see the beaver. The beaver's holed up somewhere nice and warm, and we won't be seeing him. And I don't know if we'll ever get a chance to see them, but I'm really going to go back. I'm going to take Papa Jim up there. We're going to look for the geocache. We're going to see if we can see the beaver and maybe get some more footage of the dam. I'd love to go up there. You know what I want to do? I don't know if I could talk Papa Jim into it or not. And plus, we'll have to see if we can even access the ditch then and the farmers' fields and stuff. But I'd like to go when it's warmer. I'd like to pack a picnic, drive down to the bridge, park, go down a better ditch access than the one that the kids took me down. And I'd like to just kind of walk out to the dam with maybe like a trail cam or even just my phone on a tripod and set it up and just have a picnic. I'd like to go down there and have a picnic and just see if the beaver shows up. Wouldn't that be fun? I'd love to do stuff like that. I say that in this live. Do I really want to go out where all of the insects and all that other stuff? I don't know. I'm getting too old for some of this stuff. Our California geocache got swept away and taken a few years ago. Oh no, Jennifer, that's where most of my finds are, is in California. And my travel bug has gone missing. Somebody picked up my travel bug and they said they dropped it off somewhere, and then I never saw it again. It's not even active anymore. If you guys have not tried geocaching, and if you're looking for something fun to do, there are two ways to do it. The first one is where you have all of these little treasures. It's such a neat thing. We have found treasures that are as large as big ammo cans. We've found some in little Tupperwares or little coffee cans. We've seen some that are just in tiny little vials that are just the little thing that you sign and put it back. Never too old. I love doing stuff. I'm too old to be climbing some of the places we've had to climb. Now, we do have a friend here where we live now, and she's hardcore geocacher. Like, she will climb up underneath bridges, like way up in bridges. She will go out in a canoe to a bridge over the river and climb up to get a geocache. This grandma ain't doing that no more. But there's the ones where you use your phone to go find all of these little treasures there in the most unique places that you'd never think to look. It's a lot of fun. We really, truly enjoyed it. I've got a whole album on my Facebook page with all of the little, and I can't do that. I mean, I could pull it up if I was on my laptop and show you some fun things, but I can't do it on this phone. But then there's Adventure Labs. I've just recently heard that the whole geocaching community now has a thing called Adventure Labs. And Jennifer, have you ever done an Adventure Lab? Good morning, Heather Lynn. An Adventure Lab uses the same concept as using the GPS in your phone, but you can do an Adventure Lab in a town. And this is what hubby and I are going to start doing, is you pull up the GPS, you find an Adventure Lab. It's an app that you put on your phone. And it usually has 5 different points of interest that your phone will guide you to based on GPS, based on the coordinates. And so, for instance, if you got to do it, Jennifer, we're going to do our first one soon. So, for instance, if I were to go to one that I looked at that was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, it's going to take you downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it's going to take you to a historical marker that you might not even know to look for, or a historical building that you might not even notice if you were in Chattanooga, Tennessee, if you were a visitor there. So the phone's GPS will take you to a specific location, and on your phone, it's going to tell you the history of this specific location. And then there might be a riddle, and you solve the riddle, and it'll get you to your next location, and so on, or just different neat things. And by the time you get to the end, you've learned 5 really neat things about this town that you've visited. And a lot of the time there's a bonus cache at the end where it will take you to one of these little treasures that I speak of. So you get to learn all of these neat little things, go to all of these fun little historic places, and then you get to find a geocache and sign it at the end. I love that so much. I do too, and I think it's more my activity level now, because I don't want to go down in ditches and climb trees for geocaches anymore. I used to be all into it. We used to be, under the logs and up the trees and on the bridges, but the funnest place, and I don't want this to sound disrespectful. Don't anybody think this is disrespectful, because it was actually very cool. One of the coolest places we geocached was in an old gold town in the cemetery. So you go to the app where you can find where your geocaches are, and a lot of times they have riddles or backstories. They tell you about where you're going to be geocaching. And this was in a cemetery, and it was really neat because it takes you different places and you read the headstones about certain pioneers of that gold rush community. And then it takes you to the next one and you find all of these interesting things about the community. And you find geocaches, and like they would be up in a tree, they never were disrespectful. And they tell you, please don't walk on the grave sites. Walk respectfully like you would if you were going to do if you were going to visit the cemetery anyways. But it's neat because we learned a lot about the founding fathers. We learned a lot about this gold town community up in the mountains where it's up on a hill. And you learned about how if somebody were to pass away in the wintertime, they had to get all the way up the hill, and they had to store the bodies in different places until you could dig in the ground because it was cold and the ground was frozen. So many things you learned about how this community worked back in the 1800s. And it was really neat. But it was really neat going in the cemetery and learning about all of these neat people. I don't miss California. I don't miss California at all. Where we were, though, for that one, Jennifer, was up in Julian. It's in San Diego County. It was a really neat place. Good morning, Gail. So, but I haven't geocached in a long time. We're going to start geocaching again here. I think my phone might not be completely calibrated because I went to go look for one the other day and I couldn't find it, and it should have been an easy one. But we love geocaching. It is so neat. And I did find my geocaching kit. Papa Jim and I had like a tackle box. When we used to go geocaching with our granddaughter in California, we had a tackle box that we would take with us. And in the tackle box is everything that we would need. You don't really need anything except maybe a pen or a pencil and your phone. Something with GPS capability. But when we would find the larger hidden treasures, we would take a trinket, and you don't take a trinket unless you leave a trinket. So we would leave a trinket, and the trinkets that we had were little erasers that were like little smiley face sunflowers. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you mean, Jennifer. Geocaching in the Ozarks would be interesting. And see, that's the thing too, is when we go on our journeys and stuff, there's these adventure labs now. So if we end up down in Branson, or if we end up down in Hot Springs, Arkansas, I'm going to do some of the adventure labs down there. There's an adventure lab. Well, there's several adventure labs around where I live, so I'm going to be going on those. I think it would be a lot of fun. And plus it gets your walking in, which I need to do more of. I walked a lot the other day with the grandbabies. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to warmer weather where I can geocache and do these fun things. You love my chicken boxes behind. Oh, let me show you those. Oh, they're so neat. There's 3 of them, but there's only 2 there. Oh, because the third one's on the side. Hang on a second. All right, Margot, move out of the way. Here's the smallest one. Isn't that adorable? All of these little chickens. But I like that the lid opens up and it's got all of these beautiful little sunflowers on it. I just love it. I've had these forever. I've probably had these for 20 years. And then when you open the inside, it's got these little compartments with the chickens on it. You take the little compartment out. My arm hurts. Take the little compartment out, and it's got all of the French decor and stuff in it. I've got something in this one. And then it's got more decor on the inside so you can store things. And then they're stackable. So I have a lot of my sewing stuff in there. That's one of my, this one doesn't have very much in it. Let's see what this one has in it. But what's nice is when I move or go somewhere, I can stack all 3 of them into the larger one. But see, in here, I've got all of my crochet sewing needles, for the yarn needles for sewing in the ends on my crochet. Y'all popped up while I was trying to upload a short. YouTube is frustrating. Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning, Lynette from Coffee Angel Crafts. Yeah, these are so cute. So I just keep all of my little darning needles in this one for my crochet. And then in this big monster here, what do I have in this one? I don't know. Oh, yes. I've got all of my little faux leather tags for when I crochet my hats. You know, so you have the little label on your hats. I've got all of those. My buttons. I've got wood buttons that I put on my crochet items. Oh, and these are all my googly eyes for when I make little crocheted animals. I've got all my little googly eyes and stuff in here. So it's fun, but thank you for noticing them. I love them. They may not go with my craft room decor so much, but I do like to, I can keep all my little crafty stuff in them. I had those in my kitchen in California before we moved, but I like them a lot. Thank you for noticing them, Gail. Oh my goodness. You need to organize your growing craft collection, Gail. I hear you. If you saw this mess in this room, I've got so much craft stuff. This is I think it's a 15 by 16 bedroom. It's the first room that we renovated in this house. So Papa Jim and I, this used to be our bedroom until we moved downstairs. And so now all of my craft stuff is taken over this room, but I don't have it organized well enough yet to have everything in here. So my guest room next door is completely full of my craft stuff everywhere. It's everywhere. I need to get it organized. But I find that I'd have more time in the day if I didn't chat so much, but I love to chat. I love to chat. I keep coming back to the whole thing of when the time comes when I'm dead and gone, somebody's not going to say, you know, her craft room was always a mess. I'm hoping people will say, gosh, I loved chatting with her or seeing her doing this or seeing her doing that. And I know that my grandkids later, they're not going to say, boy, Grandma's kitchen was messy that one time we went over. Remember? No, they're going to say, remember when Grandma took us on that walk and we got to go see the beaver dam? That's what I want it to be. I'm trying to find stuff to make your 4th of July wreath. Artists are so messy. Yes, we are. I think artists are creative, but our brains don't work the same way as others do. Sometimes I'm speaking for myself, and so I am a mess all the time. But it's weird. It's like I'm so unorganized, but on some things I have to be extremely organized. I have to be very OCD on some things, but other things I'm just like, everything's everywhere. So I'm glad that Gail popped in here because I'm still trying to figure out, you know, Gail was talking to me the other day about she wanted to share some of her stories and she came up with Gail's Tales. And I had it happen again, Gail, where I was talking to somebody. Matter of fact, who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody the other day and I said something about, oh, you know, that one story. And they're like, what? What story? I said, you know, that story that I share. And they said, I've never heard it. And I said, well, I've shared it in my coffee chat like 4 times. And they said, oh, I can't make it to the coffee chats. And I realized people aren't watching the coffee chats unless you catch it live. Of course, they don't go back. So I do need to put my stories out there in story form. And I'm still trying to come up with a name for those segments because Gail came up with a great one for hers. It was Gail's Tales, which is so wonderful, but I don't know. I'm thinking Mama Says, like Bobby Boucher, Mama Says, Vicki Valancourt's a devil. It's not mess. It's lots of ideas laying around waiting to happen. That's true. My husband called me an artist last night and I was shocked. I was painting bunnies. Isn't that sweet, Gail? So yeah, I'm going to share my stories. I gotta come up with the right eye-catching name for the segments. I do. So I also, you know, I was talking to my son last night and he says, Mom, you really need to work on your branding. You need to work on your branding. And it's like, I know, I do. Because I have my blog and my blog is named something entirely different, but I share those stories. That blog has a page on Facebook. My crochet has a separate page on Facebook. I have a separate Facebook, but I don't have a Country Mama Musings Facebook. I've got Instagram for Country Mama Musings. But then he says, some of the best videos are when you and Dad are together, just ping-ponging off of each other, the fun stuff. And it's like, yeah, but do I change it to include Papa Jim? And he says, Papa Jim needs his own channel. Do you need to make it? There's all of these different avenues. He says, you need to just rein it all in. So do I change my blog name so that it's searchable? You are my brand. Thank you, Gail. I need to pull it all together. That's what I need to do. Your house has a craft room, Jennifer. My entire house is a craft room. You are all over the place. I had no idea. Do you have a link tree? See? No, I don't have a link tree. I don't know. Like, exactly. I'm all over the place. I need to rein it in because I share with people all the time. Oh, I've got that story in a blog. And then later on, I'll go back to the coffee chat later and I'll put a link to that blog that blog entry about this one story. And then I forget. And I need to pull it all together. Don't change anything, just do you. I will do me, but I want to pull it together. I do want to pull it together, Gail. And I do want to come up with a fun segment for the stories. I do want to come up with something for, we've got the crochet along, something like that. Good morning, LG. Welcome in. We're just chatting. I'm just rambling. I really am. It's been one of those days. Coming to you in this really cute shirt that I got at the thrift store the other day for 50 cents and my jammy bottoms. Lisa explained Linktree the other day. I need to figure out about Linktree. I've missed some videos since Monday because I haven't had reliable internet and I've only had the phone. And if I get in to watch somebody's live or somebody's video, then somebody calls or messages and I get kicked out and hopefully nothing will happen here. I put it on airplane mode, but I don't know if I kept it in the second one. I don't know. Blech. Oh, look at Heather Lynn has a link tree. That's pretty cool. I need to look into the link tree. I'm going to write it down right now. Oh, that's another thing. We've got all of our things with our little hot dog wiener dog, Team Weenie Watchers. Do I need to do something separate for Team Weenie Watchers? All these things. Do I just need to change something to just Team Weenie Watchers? I don't know. Maybe we can get Lisa, Trey, or Lori to do a video link tree. Ooh, nice. Oh, Pam, I will be in my jammies all day. The only way I will not be in my jammies is if the internet guy shows up to fix the internet, and I still might be in my jammies. All right, so I need to look into Linktree. And this is probably something that my son was trying to get me to understand last night. Because he says, Mom, you've got YouTube, but what else are you doing to promote your brand? I said, I have Instagram, and I don't do well with Instagram. I'm still learning Instagram. And I have Facebook, but I don't have a YouTube Country Mama Musings Facebook page. He goes, you need to fix that. And he says, and you need to do some of your videos. You need to take some of the funny things on your videos and put them on Twitter. Or you need to put them on TikTok. And you do all these things. I'll look into that, Lisa. Thank you. Nothing is organized in a small apartment because it isn't a good spot for everything. That's kind of how I feel now. Everything's everywhere, Heatherland. This is the mess. Embrace it. So he says, for instance, Mom, you guys did that video where Dad had the walnuts in his hand, and it was for the Big Wood contest, the collaboration we were in for the Big Wood. He goes, Mom, it's so funny the way Dad's walking around with those walnuts in his hand, and you're like, you got the biggest nuts in the valley. And he goes, it's so funny. You should make that a TikTok. Put it out on Twitter. It's like, let me compartmentalize one social media area at a time. And right now I'm just trying to grasp Instagram. It just jumped. Do you know what I just did? I just missed something in the chat and it jumped and I was going to try to catch it and I'm trying to scroll on my laptop. It's not going to work. Everything is a mix of PC stuff, cooking stuff, gardening stuff, my husband's tools and craft stuff. Gail says, started to put on my PJs today. Couldn't decide if I was going out today or not. Yeah, my stuff's a mix of stuff. And even Lisa said one time, she goes, I don't understand what your content is because you're kind of all over the place. I was like, it's what I am. Some of it's homesteading, some of it's crafting, some of it's stories, some of it's just weird random things, some of it's coffee chats because that's who I am. Totally with you because it comes full-time job, and that means then I would have three full-time jobs in one day. I have playlists. I do have playlists. So those are available, wink, wink, for all of your viewing pleasure as I approach a new milestone. So it's funny because my son's an IT guy. I said, don't you have that computer sharing system on like a lot of people that you interact with? And he says, yeah. I said, so like in the middle of the night, you could go onto their computer and play my playlist? He says, no. That'll get him in trouble. Okay, never. You can't blame a mama for trying, right? You are everything all in one place. Well, there's plenty of me to go around, isn't there, Gail? You bring your personality over everything you do. Thank you, and cheers. Oh, I got thumbs up today. I just want to rein it in. Maybe the wild is what we need in life. At least you guys know I'm always kind of unpredictable. I don't want to become too predictable, right? But I was thinking about amusing moments with mama for my stories. But the word musing is a reflection. It is a remembrance. It's like you're remembering your stories. You're looking back on your stories. You're looking back on moments. That's what musing is a reflection, a ponderance. So if I put a musing moments with mama, because that's what musing is, I don't want people to say, well, that story wasn't amusing because I don't want you to think it's funny as in amusing. Because some of my stories, like the woman who had her numbers tattooed on her arm when she went to buy my punch bowl, that's not amusing. That's a very serious story. So I don't want it to be misinterpreted as somebody thinking that all of the stories are going to be funny because they're not all funny. Some of them are, but not all of them. And I have this idea in my head of how I want to do the stories. And my son's like, Mom, I'm like, what? He goes, this is what you're going to do. He says, when you're telling the story about us camping in Ocotillo Wells and there was all the tarantulas, he goes, I can see you. I can see you sitting in your room in a safari outfit with the hat and all khaki and a shovel and a fake tarantula and telling everybody the story about the tarantulas while you're all dressed up in costume. It's like, oh my God, that's so much work. I could do some of it. I don't know that I can do all of it, but some of those things would be fun. Cleaning up after two people by myself is hard. Chronic fatigue, yes. Oh, goodness. It would be epic. I don't know where I could find all the costume things, but I mean, I could do some things, but um, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to. I want to have a certain je ne sais quoi about telling my stories, but I don't know what it is yet. I really want to set up my little corner over here where I've got my little milk glass lamp, so it looks like an oil lamp, and my wingback chair that's an antique, and I just kind of want to like light an oil lamp, have a cup of tea, open a book, and tell you my stories. That's kind of what I wanted. Alicia's musings. He says I have to find something that's searchable. Something that's Mama talks. That's why I wanted to do like Mama says, like Vicki Valancourt, or Mama always said, life is like a box of chocolates. I wonder if I could use Mama always said, like Mama talks. I had friends of mine tell me I have to get in my pixie gear again. And I'm like, I don't know. Something I wanted to do, not something you want to do anymore. Mama talks, Mama says, Mama always talks. I'm always talking. Mama says, knock you out. Musings of a Country Mama. These are all good suggestions, guys. These are all good suggestions. I'm trying to think if there's a story on there I haven't told you guys yet. I know there are because there are so many stories. But do I tell it to you now or do I record one and try to put it up later? Mama's box of chocolates. Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. Not with Country Mama. Searched it and there are some. Searched it and there are some. What, Lisa? Because the chat's jumping on me. Musings of a Country Mama. Okay, so Lisa wrote me one day from Yogi Hollow Farm. She goes, did you know that there's this page? And she sent me a link. I'm like, no, I didn't know there was that page. Jeez. Here I am, Country Mama Musings, and I'm kind of goofy and stuff. And this is not to knock the other channel at all. I'm going to think before I say things, make sure everything is kind and thoughtful. But she goes, there's this other channel and it's called Manic Mama Musings. And it's like, I had no idea that there was a Country Mama Musings and a Manic Mama Musings. I had no idea there was this manic one. Musings with, fill in the blank. Musings with Mama. Musings with Country Mama. My coffee's cold. I hate it when it gets to that in-between stage where it's not quite hot enough, but not quite cold enough to enjoy as an iced coffee. It's just hot. Musings with. I like it, but you know how many times I've had to explain to people what musings is? Do I want it to be story time? You guys are giving me all great ideas. I'm taking them all in. But eventually I want to get there. I want to get there. It was like, here it is. This is it. And everybody will be like, yay, she figured it out. So I'm a dork. I did another fashion show the other day, but I haven't edited it yet. But I have to tell you guys. So I go to this little thrift store. They've got great prices. It's a thrift store where all of the ladies from all of the local churches, you get all the donations and they put out this beautiful little thrift store. And I like to go there every so often. And I've been finding some really cute clothes lately. And I think somebody who's about the size I am now, they must have just like cleaned out their closets with all kinds of like Craft and Borrow and all kinds of these name brands that I'm not used to. So I got this cute shirt for 50 cents. I like it. Oh, you guys have to get stuff done. Listen. Okay. Jennifer's a dork too. Dorky moments with Country Mama. Anyways, they don't have any place where you can see if the clothes are going to fit you. So I buy them and I bring them home. And I said to the ladies the other day, I said, that big flowy top where my arms look awful. I said, if I got a shirt that doesn't quite work for me, what do I do? What's your return policy? And she's like, what? I said, can I bring the shirt in that doesn't fit quite right and maybe exchange it for another shirt that does fit? How do I do that? How do I return something? She goes, lady, it was 50 cents. Redonate it and buy another one. Oh, okay. Bye, Lisa. Thank you for running it. And we will be talking soon. Heather Lynn's eating lunch and you're watching. I haven't even had breakfast. I haven't even had a breakfast bar yet. I've been down there in that workshop trying to get everything set up for the internet. I've got stuff to do tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna have to try to do my best to do it on the phone. You Googled Gail's Tales. I just got to come up with something. Mama's big fish stories. My stories are real though. They're not big fish, but I do like to have fun with them. My son is 38 and he still goes on about the space shuttle story. So I'll have to share the space shuttle story, the shark attack story, all the fun stories. Yeah, lunch is a good idea. I need to start eating breakfast or drinking shakes, Gail says. I had a protein bar at the ready, my Atkins protein bar, and I didn't grab it on the way up. I was running late, so I grabbed my coffee and I ran upstairs. But I don't know. I need to really I know there are so many great name suggestions, and it may be a combination of what has come across today. It might be once it hits me, it'll be an epiphany, and I'll be like, that's the name of my story segments. There's got to be a really clever way that people say these are her stories. This is your life, Country Mama Musings. LG, gotta run. Just wanted to stop in and say hello. Well, thank you, Lori, for stopping in. I'm glad to see you. I hope everything is going well. You have a wonderful day. But there's not much else going on today. I did have a great weekend. If you were able to catch my really weird impromptu late night live where we popped in and let you know what was going on here. Excited about that. Things are going well with that. And I don't know. I'm happy about that. I'm really struggling with not having good internet so I can get more content out. Papa Jim and I did a video. We recorded it on Sunday and I've got it almost completely edited. Once I have it edited, I'll be putting it up. We've got a series that's going to be at least a 2-part series coming out. I think you'll be very interested in it. We're trying to have a really honest approach about some current things that are going on where I want to make sure I say this appropriately. Think, THINK. There's a lot going on in our current circumstances right now in the world, and people are misrepresenting it, intentionally or not. And so I did some research on some things, and I wanted to present something that's a little bit more factual and not so scary on some certain things. So I've got a really neat thing coming out. And before I did it, I told Papa Jim, I said, I don't like the way that these channels, nobody that I'm subscribed to is subscribed to me. We were seeing some things, some trends. I said, I don't like the way that those are being presented. I said, I think I need to follow up with something. And Papa Jim said, you need to research it before you follow up on it. Check at the source for stories or segments or collections, anthologies. Allie's anthologies. But nobody's going to look up Allie. Nobody's going to look up anthologies. So I researched this topic for 2 days before we did our videos. So I found some pretty interesting things. So watch for those videos to come out. It'll be both Papa Jim and I. I learned some neat stuff this weekend. And it all started from misinformation and me saying, I don't think that's accurate. So I researched a little bit. Not that I know what I'm talking about, but it was just common stuff you could find on the internet. And I just wanted to share it out. Oh, I'm reading something going, please subscribe to my channel. And then I realize it's my Nightbot. It's like, what's going on? Oh, but yeah, I'll check out some thesaurus stuff. And I know it will come up there. It took me a long time to come up with Country Mama Musings because a lot of the things I wanted to do were already taken. And then I finally came up. You're interested to see the video. As soon as I can get it uploaded, as soon as I have internet here on the farm, which let me check, I don't think they've repaired it remotely because they said they're going to have to come out. And if I hit connect on my laptop, I just get the spinny wheel of death. It doesn't do anything. But at least it's almost edited and it'll be going up as soon as I get it. So I put a lot of thought into it. I put a lot of research into it and discussed it with my son last night. And he says, it's pretty much where it needs to be. He disagrees with some of it, but he knows more about it than I do. But we also have different views on some things. We pretty much align with our views. But I think maybe he's a little bit more realistic and I'm still a little bit Pollyanna. My sister came out with the name Gail Southern Living. And I want to know about this Southern Sandy's Crafts. I want to know about that. I want to know where that one came from. So that would be interesting to find that out in a little bit. but I'll come up with something. It'll be neat. I think right now I'm kind of scattered all over the place, like my brain is with this adult ADHD. Did I ever tell you guys that story? How I went to this, I used to work with special needs students. I used to work in the special education department, and I was a paraprofessional working one-on-one with students. And then I worked in the classroom with students. And the school district that I worked for, they said, there's this big conference for the state of California, and we want to send you to represent our district. We had a pretty large district. Our town was over 100,000 people. And so for the entire district, they were only going to send 2 people. And I was one of the ones that they selected to go. And I was so excited that they sent me to go on this conference. So we went to San Jose, California for this conference, and there were all these different workshops that you could attend. And you had to select, it was like a menu. You had to select for each time slot which workshop you wanted to attend. And well, I know Southern Sandy's Crafts does paper crafts, jewelry, and mixed wreaths. I want to know how you came up with the name Southern Sandy's Crafts. Because for the longest time you were coming in as Southern Sandy's Crafts, and I didn't know it was you, Gail, because I didn't make the connection. So I'm trying to figure out the connection of how you came up with Southern Sandy's Crafts. Is Sandy your middle name? I don't know. Anyways, hairball, sorry. So I picked this one workshop, and it was about understanding your students, getting to really understand the way your students think, and so you can relate to them better, work with them better in the classroom setting. So I attend this conference, and they said, okay, first off, we're going to do a little game. I'm like, oh, good. I love games. And when you walk in, they have all like these little, the merch bags, the swag. Everybody gets stuff when you go to these big conferences. And they have all these swag bags, right? And nobody gets a swag bag on the way into these. It's always at the end of every workshop you get swag bags. They want to make sure you stay. Got you, Gail. Thank you. Now it makes sense to me. And I apologize if I missed that earlier, if there was an explanation earlier and I missed it. So they said, we're gonna do this little exercise. It's a game, but it's an exercise. I'm like, well, I'm all excited because I'm gonna win something, right? I'm competitive. I'm ready to go. And they said, we want everybody in the auditorium to stand up. And there's like 300 of us. So everybody stands up. And again, this is a story. I'll have to share it in the story, but I'm going to share it now. And so we all stand up, and they said, okay, stay standing up if you have like more than one creative project going at a time. Which I do. I mean, look at this mess. So I stay standing up. People start sitting down. They don't have more than one crafty project going at a time. Stay standing up if you read more than one book at a time. People sit down. I'm still standing up. I'm going, yay, I'm going to win. Stay standing up if you lose your keys often. Do you lose your keys or misplace your glasses, things like that? And people start sitting down like, yeah, I do. I misplace my car keys a lot. I often I don't even know at the moment where my glasses are. I mean, all this stuff is applying to me, right? People sit down. Stay standing up if you have this issue in your life. They didn't say issue, but if you do this, stay standing up. And I stay standing up. And one by one, all of these 300 people are sitting down to where there's only like 3 of us left standing up. I'm like, yes. Is this going to be like a game show where they're going to pull up the top 3 and we're going to, battle it out with some Q&A, and I'm going to win. I'm going to win the grand prize. No, I'm just standing there. And they said, for the few of you who are remaining standing, chances are you have adult attention deficit disorder, and you probably really relate to your students well. I'm like, what? I'd never been diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. Not that they were like probably qualified to diagnose, but I hit all the check marks. Because I'm still standing up. And they said, this is probably why, do you feel like you really relate to your kids? I'm like, yeah, I think I do. Well, probably because you have attention deficit disorder. And I'm standing there. It was kind of one of those, it was a great lesson, but it really does relate to the Think video that I just put out. Is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? They didn't check all those boxes because it made me feel it deflated me. I was so excited that I might win something in this big game we're playing. And then it's like, by the way, did you know that you're probably diagnosed with this now? Oh, okay. Um, and they said, chances are, your children might have attention deficit disorder. It's like, oh my gosh. Two of my children had been diagnosed with ADD and ADHD. So yeah, it's something. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that my children are this way because I probably passed it on to them. Thank you. Where's my prize? I still got a swag bag, but so did everybody else without a lovely diagnosis to go with it. I have it for sure. I can't really read more than one book though. I have some reading comprehension problems. I've always got so many different things going. When I was 5, but back then they called it hyperactivity and told my mom not to let me eat sugar or artificial red food coloring. Yeah. Um, when my son was younger, my oldest son, I used to let him have coffee because coffee calmed him down. Where for most people, coffee perks them up, coffee calmed him down. Cough syrup, oh my gosh. If he was sick and I gave him cough syrup, whoop, he'd ramp right up. Complete opposite of how things should work. But so yeah, I learned that about myself. That was an interesting day at the conference. And so, the rest of the conference, I just kind of walked around going, yeah, I got ADHD. I have adult attention deficit disorder as I'm trying to find my sunglasses that are probably stuck on the top of my head. Coffee relaxes you. I'm drinking mine just because I like the taste. I like the taste of my coffee. I don't need it to get up going, hello, Ruga Homestead. Look, you came in and I'm not ready to say goodbye. We could spend some time together. I'm still chatting. I am using my phone today because we don't have Wi-Fi here at the house. And I told myself I'll probably just go on for 10 minutes because I know it's going to be a dumpster fire. And here I am an hour later. I'm still going. Oh, I'm still going. Goodness. I'm just putting my hand behind my back to support my lower back. I'm not scratching my bum or anything. That was awkward. Anyways, let's see. So I've got some videos coming out. We're going to be doing hopefully, I'm going to be able to do our crochet tutorial tomorrow for block number 3 on our crochet along, which is going to be the double crochet block. I know that Nisi said that block number 2 was bigger than block number 1, and I experienced the same thing. We're both very tight crocheters. We have tight tension. So I remedied my first square, Nisi, if you're still listening, and I will discuss that tomorrow about how I remedied it so everything fits a little bit better now. Could have stretched it. It would have worked. I know I did it in my first Afghan that I made, but I started thinking about it and I thought, what can I do? And I remedied that. So we will talk about that tomorrow. So in the chat, guys, what's going on with you guys? Tell me how your week has gone. Do you have anything special coming up on your channel that you'd like to share? I know I've got a million things to talk about, but at the moment, my little brain is just on pause. Let's see. I will tell you that I've noticed, spring just must be right around the corner. I'd like to fix my first square. Yes, I've got a way for you to fix it, Nisi. No worries. What if we all just function differently and that doesn't mean you're disordered? Thank you. Just saying. I know for some folks, ADD is really tough. And then for others, it's just how they operate. I don't know. It's how I operate. See, that's just it. It's such a good point. That is such a good point. Because it's how I've always just operated. But then as soon as they said that, yes, I felt like I had a disorder. I felt, instead of being unique and different and quirky and goofy and who I am and how I operate, then it was kind of like I had a label slapped on my forehead. I had a label slapped, and it, you know what? Gosh darn it, it makes you realize how our kids feel when they get the label slapped on them. I knew that my kids felt that way because they had the label slapped on them. And then so I experienced as an adult, and it is difficult. It is. I have severe ADHD plus my autism, so never a dull moment in this household. Right? I never followed up on this, Nisi, but I believe my 2 at least two of my boys are probably a little bit on the spectrum. Highly intelligent, but all over the place. So Gail, you want to do some gardening this week? That'll be great. I'm looking forward to getting in the garden as well. The label cannot be placed on you if you don't accept it. Yes, it is like the Eleanor Roosevelt quote, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Very, very true. And I'm hoping that as you guys have gotten to know me throughout the last year and a half, and as quirky as I am, obviously I haven't let that label get to me. At the moment, during the conference, I really did. I really did during the conference, but obviously it hasn't slowed me down. I just keep going, how long my hair's getting. I need to decide if I'm going to cut it. Do I keep letting it grow? Do I need to do bangs? Do I need to go for the whole cousin it look? I'm not quite sure. I was telling you about my turkeys. I noticed that the 3 toms that I've got out in the yard are just in full strut lately. They are trying so hard to impress the ladies out there. It is something to watch. I love it. Joey, who is our oldest tom, he's in full strut. And it's funny because when he walks, his tail tilts certain ways. Hello, Giggles Prep. That's right. Embrace it, quirks and all. The diagnosis doesn't change who you are. It gives you some clarity and understanding, but never changes who you are as a person. That is wonderful, Pam. Absolutely true. Yogi, Lisa over at Yogi Hollow Farm, and Pam over at Blues Self-Reliance. They are on it. But I just love watching the turkeys because they're walking around. They've got the red and the blue all over their head. And they're just in full strut. The ladies are like, whatever. They got 3 male suitors chasing them around the yard. And they're just like, yeah, whatever. But I love watching them. I love watching them so much. And it just explains our behaviors and the way we think. It's a map. Yeah. And if it helps other people understand, that's great. As long as there's no negative connotation put with it, I'm perfectly fine. Because sometimes now maybe you guys understand why I am the way I am. And as indicated, like it'll rump it, one or the other. But I want to figure out what to do with my hair. I'm waiting. If any of you watch Lily Sage, is it Sage Lily Brush? She does the vintage stuff, and you know I love all things vintage. I watched a haircut tutorial that she did the other day, and I'm waiting because I'm waiting to get to that point. You split your hair down the middle and the back, and you bring it forward. But see, I'm just almost there, but not quite. Like especially right here. But you bring it forward, and when you bring it forward and you cut it here, it gives you the horseshoe cut, a horseshoe cut in the back, so it's not an A line the other way. I'm waiting to do that. Everybody's saying hello. I love it. So I almost, because I'm very impulsive too. That's part of the whole ADD thing, I'm sure. I'm impulsive. That's how I almost ended up being a shark attack victim. The stories, friends, the stories. My impulsive life. Yeah, but not all my stories about being impulsive. I was down in town the other day picking up prescriptions and doing these things, and I drove by a hair salon. I thought, I wonder if I should just walk in and get my hair cut. And I thought, no, I want to wait. I like it when I curl it. The other day, Papa Jim and I went live, and I was looking at something down here, and I watched the replay just to make sure everything looked good. Okay, LP, thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate it. Can you believe I'm having a hard time finding someone to cut my long hair, even just a trim? It's just, isn't that crazy? That is, Nisi. You should be able to find somebody to give you a trim. I almost thought about going up to the beauty college and let the students get a hold of this mess, but I'm refraining from now. Anyways, Papa Jim and I were doing this live, and I was looking down and doing stuff, and I noticed it's like, oh my gosh, I've got a bald spot on the top. And since I started this new medication, my hair's been falling out because it causes a vitamin B12 deficiency. It's like my hair's falling out. And I told Papa Jim, I said, look at the top of my head. I got a bald spot. I got alopecia, which I've been completely bald because of my cancer. But so it doesn't bother me. But it's like, what's going on up here? He goes, it's not bald. He goes, you just need to color your hair again. It's where your gray's growing in. Right there. I was like, oh, okay, I can handle gray. I just want to make sure all my hair wasn't going to fall out. Right? It's not like you're asking them to cut it off. You just want to trim. Don't get me started on trimming my own hair. How many? Show of hands. How many? How many have thought, I'm just going to cut my own bangs? I'm an intelligent adult. I can handle cutting my own bangs. So you get your hair wet, you smooth it all down, you cut it right where you want it, and then your hair dries and your bangs are up here. Guilty. I've done it. And here I am telling you guys that I'm waiting for my hair to grow out so I can cut it like the girl on YouTube does a tutorial. And when I do it, I'll do it as a tutorial. When it gets long enough, I'm going to cut my own hair so that I can do the whole little horseshoe look like they used to do. When they used to cut their own hair in the 40s and the 50s post-war. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll do a tutorial and you guys can see if I mess it up or not. But I want it so it's, it'll have a nice horseshoe shape. I want it to have a nice shape. Right now, I'm just kind of scraggly. I've got different lengths, and that's because of how I had it cut last before we went into this whole cinnamon vanilla thing. So I haven't had it cut in over 2 years. I've not cut my hair. My birthday present from my mom this year is a haircut appointment sometime this spring. Oh, how lovely. You're going to have a wonderful time, Heather Lynn. Now, does she live local with you? She gets to go with you, or is it a long distance gift where she's going to send you out to go get your hair cut? That would be interesting. I hope you get to spend some time with your mama so you can do that, because that would be really nice. But if it's a long distance thing, it's a lovely, lovely gift to give. Lovely. I don't know. We'll see how long I can hang out. I might show up for a live one day and my hair will be cut. You guys will go, oh my gosh, what did she do? Because I looked back the other day at some of my I've had some cute haircuts in the past. And I was looking at some pictures the other day. It's like, you might want to try that again. It's like, stop. You don't need bangs right now. Or do I? I don't know. Anyways, well, I hope Gail gets to get some things in her garden. Hopefully it's warm enough. She said she wants to garden this week. I think all of us are getting excited to do something, whether it's container gardening, herb gardening. I have a different thought process on how I'm going to do my gardening this year. It's been 5 years and something. Oh, 5 years and something since you've had a trim. Well, then you're due. You're due, Heather Lynn. I have a whole bunch of zinnia seeds from this past year, and I'm just thinking about clearing my stump garden. Last year, I tried to put wildflowers in my stump garden, and it didn't work. But this year, I'm thinking I'm just going to level out my stump garden, get any weeds out of there, and just broadcast a whole bunch of zinnia seeds and hope that hits. I'm going to get the rototiller out and go around my teal pig and the gate that's at the front of the property, and I'm going to do zinnias all around that. My mom is going to help me get the appointment. Wonderful. Was going to start seeds today, but the weather got really cold and I fell asleep about 5 minutes before your live. Oh, sorry, Pam. Yeah, it's going to be a while before we start seeds here too. I spoke to Farmer Tom on the way to the beaver dam. And I said, what do you think, Farmer Tom? It's so funny because the kids are like, how do you know this man? It's like, he's Farmer Tom. He's the neighbor. I didn't even know his name until I said, what's your name again? Because it's Tom. I said, kids, this is Farmer Tom. It's like they were like, oh, Farmer Tom has a big green tractor. So I said, Farmer Tom. And, I'm all playing it up. It's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Hello, Farmer Tom. Can we tell the kids what's expected according to the Farmer's Almanac? Do you think there's another snow coming our way? And he says, well, he goes, I think there is. I think we've got one more big snow coming our way for the season. And he goes, I said, well, you've got the tractor out today. Are you going to start, clearing your plot here to get are you going to start getting things ready? I don't know the proper words. And he says, no, I'm just warming up my tractor so I can get it warmed up because I'm going to do an oil change on it so I can get ready for the planting season. It's like, good idea. I gotcha. My mom helps me out with rides to my medical appointments because I don't have a car or a license. Well, you know what? It's really great that you've got somebody to be your support system like that. I think that is wonderful. That is wonderful. My mom used to take me to my appointments, and then later in years, I took my mom to her appointments. It was really pretty neat. So we'll see. We'll see if we get one more snow. I'm not putting anything together for a garden yet. But I'm thinking this year, oh my gosh, see how my brain goes? I'm like, oh, on to another thing. I just took Papa Jim out into the chicken yard and I said, I want to reconfigure the chicken yard. I want to make it where when we go on our trips that we're going to go on with our weenie dog, there he is. There's Colonel Mustard. Yay. We're going to go on our trips with our weenie dog. I want to make sure that the chickens are a little more secure so that if our son gets called away and he can't make it to put them up when the sun goes down, that they've got a safe place to be until he can come over and close them in and stuff. So we're going to be changing all that, which then has made me change the way I want to think about my garden, because where I'm going to change their chicken run, I want to move it around so that they can't fly up over into my garden. So to keep them from flying up over my garden, I will be blocking a portion of it off. But now I want to plant my garden so that it grows up into that portion and up and over and provides them shade, provides them some cucumbers or something fun to nibble on. And I don't have to worry about them nibbling on what's in the garden. They can have their own kind of thing growing into their space. So that's what I'm going to be planning. And poor Papa Jim. I mean, I know you guys have seen the memes. I know you've seen the memes where it says, when a wife says, you know, I've been thinking, and the man needs to run because it means it's going to be more work for him. That's what happens in this household. I've been thinking, and he's like, oh, here we go. So I took him out there the other day. I said, I've been thinking about the chicken run. He's like, mm-hmm. But I told him what I want to do, and I think he thinks it's a good idea. We're ordering something special for our chicken run. I'm not even going to say what it is, but I'm so excited about it. And when it gets here, we'll be doing a unboxing. We'll be doing the build on it. And then we're going to be showing you how it works and why we've chosen to get this and how it's going to work. It's going to be great. You prepped your pea bed yesterday. Wonderful. Peas are a wonderful, fun thing. I love to grow the sugar snap peas. What kind of peas are you growing, Heatherlyn? They're so good. I planted a little sugar snap pea garden for one of my grandchildren. So when she comes over, the peas are growing up a little trellis and she can just go pick little sugar snap peas anytime she wants them. And it's neat because instead of saying, Grandma, do you have any candy? Grandma, can I have a sucker? You know, Grandma, do you have a fruit roll up? Anything like that. It's like, Grandma, can I go pick peas in my garden? Yes, you can. So there may be more peas out there this year, or there just might be more cucumbers for the chickens. Cucumbers did so well last year that I couldn't stand seeing cucumbers anymore. There were so many cucumbers. My chickens loved them. So I am going to grow cucumbers, and if I don't pickle them, at least I'll be putting them out there for the chickens. But I think that's pretty neat, Heatherlyn, that you've got your pea bed started, getting it all prepped and ready for the year. I've not prepped anything. I still have all of my plants that have died off over the winter. They're still in the garden because I want to leave them there in case there's any pollinators, eggs, hibernating, anything. My broad beans and fava beans are showing their little noses, which is very cool. Ooh, how fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm going to do green beans this year. No other beans, but I will do the green beans. I can't decide if I want to do bush beans or the Kentucky pole beans like I did last year. Oh, last year was the first time I pressure canned our own beans. What a huge difference. I can open up a can of our homegrown green beans that I've canned, and Papa Jim can tell the difference between the ones that you get at the store that are in the cans in a tin. Such a huge difference in flavor. Just insane. Dan is going to help me thin my strawberry plant soon. Oh, wonderful. Strawberry plants are wonderful as well. My favorite is snow peas. I might plant a row of snow peas and a row of snap peas. That's wonderful, Heatherlyn. You've got some really great things planned for this year. I think that's going to be wonderful. I'm at least going to do tomatoes and the green beans. Of course, I have to have the basil because even though I can't have pizza as much as I had before, which I'm missing terribly, you know, we used to do our wood-fired pizzas all the time, and I love the margarita pizzas with my fresh basil and tomatoes out of the garden. But then I have to rethink how I do things, and please don't suggest cauliflower crust. Well, I don't like them, but we will be doing something. But so I will be doing the basil, my tomatoes, my green beans. I think I'm going to get in on a little challenge to possibly consider doing, right out of my head, quinoa, do a quinoa challenge. See if I can grow some quinoa. And I'm just going to plant tons and tons and tons of zinnias. I just want to do zinnias everywhere. easy to take care of. Papa Jim and I can go on our travels with our little wiener dog, and I don't have to worry about the garden falling into disrepair, or I don't have to burden my son with a lot of watering. I want to set up a little bit of a watering system. Gosh, my nose is tickly. Sorry, guys. Um, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do for my garden this year. I tell you this week. This week, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do for my garden. Next week, I might be like, oh my gosh, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to get all excited. I don't know. I change from day to day. Well, let's see. Do I have anything else to show? Oh, you know what? Danny wants strawberry plants, so I told her that if she helps me with thinning them, she could have them. We will make it into videos for both of our YouTube channels. Well, that will be fun. That will be fun. I think that will be great. And then the two of you will have that little bounty of strawberries. Strawberries don't do very well here at my farm. So I've tried them a couple times, and just to get the little seed starters and stuff that you get at the store, or to order them, it's cheaper for me to hit the sales. Oh my gosh, that was yesterday. I was so caught up about my internet yesterday that I did not go down to meet the farm truck. They brought in a big semi-load of fresh strawberries from the local strawberry farm, and they were having them on sale for so much per flat at the little grocery store, and I didn't go yesterday. I totally missed it. We do have a strawberry farm down the road from us. I might do that. Ooh, write it down. Visit the strawberry farm. Makes the whole thing shake, doesn't it? I'm going to visit the strawberry farm. We'll make a video out of that. That'll be fun. When I was out with the kids on Monday and we were feeding the chickens and doing our soil sample test and everything, I kept hearing the chitter chatter of the two bald eagles that have been visiting the farm lately. And I kept telling the kids, do you hear that? Do you hear that? Do you hear the eagles? And you could hear them. And if Daz were in here right now, Daz would say, how does that go again, Alicia? And I'd go, and he'd laugh at me and make fun of me. Giggles Prep, I would love to try some blueberries. I am going to try blueberries this year. Thank you for reminding me, Giggles. Yes, I want to try blueberries as well. I have a spot on the north side of my summer kitchen that I think would be nice for some blueberry plants. I know you have to have your soil prepped, just so I need to do a lot of investigation on that. So I know that they have to have some special nutrients that really work well for blueberries. But yes, I hope you do it. Tell us about it when you do that. I'd love to know more about it. Your strawberries have taken over. It was a good thing that we had all of our strawberry plants last year, because our CSA didn't include you pick strawberries. Oh goodness. There's, nobody I know here in the local area where I live, nobody grows strawberries except for the one strawberry farm down the road. Blues says, I have one blueberry bush in a pot and it's awesome. Oh. When we lived in California, we used to go to the blueberry farm with the grandbabies all the time, and we would go pick our own blueberries. And again, if I was on my laptop, I could bring up a really cool picture. We took our granddaughter blueberry picking at the blueberry farm one year. And I wish I could remember that lady's name. I think it was Alice. I'm not positive. But there was a woman out there picking blueberries. She was 105 years old. She was 105 and out there picking her blueberries for the season. It was so great. We got to spend some time with her, and it was so neat to see this little 7-year-old looking up to a 105-year-old and talking about blueberries. Your strawberries survived the winter, Gail. That's wonderful. And Giggles, you need to research the blueberries as well. Yes, research it, because I know that they have different requirements. I'm very excited for our black raspberries this year. Oh, the deer ate all of the strawberry plants in their U-pick fields. That's not good. That's not good. I don't know how they keep the deer out of the little strawberry farm down here. That'll be a good question for me to ask them. They keep the deer out, because I don't think I've seen any fencing or anything. They might, I don't know what they do. As long as it's humane. But we've been on this farm for 8 years, and I know just about every square inch of this farm after 8 years. And last year, Papa Jim came in and he says, out there behind the tool shed, there's something weird going on. He goes, it's like Audrey 6 is growing out there. There's like all of this stuff growing that was never there before. Survivals, since strawberries will survive the apocalypse, I swear you have to be pretty talented to kill them off. I am that talented. I've not had success with my strawberry plants. So I go back there and I look, and there's a huge thicket. There's this huge bramble. Make sure I get my terminology right. There's this huge bramble of berries that was not there before. It was not there before. There used to be a junk pile back there. There was never any vegetation that you could consider edible, period. But over the last several years, there's one tree right there where the bald eagles will come and they will perch on those trees. And my theory is a bald eagle feasted on some roadkill that had recently eaten some black raspberries, that then the eagle digested and landed in my tree and pooped down into my ground, and the seeds landed. And now I have wild black raspberries growing on the back corner of my property. Listening and eating lunch. Thank you, Gail. Strawberries multiply so fast you don't need to buy many plants. Mine don't. So I go back there. This bramble is, no kidding, 40 feet long, 10 feet deep, and it was not there 2 years ago. There was not one plant out there 2 years ago. And I have to say 2 years because your first year's growth, your second year, you get the canes that will produce the fruit. And then that year, new canes will go out that will produce the following year. It's a succession thing. I went out every morning. I loved it so much last year. I went out every morning with my little bucket, and my dog would run out there with me. And I would just pick as many as I could reach. And my freezer's full of berries. I was going to make all kinds of lovely berry cobblers. And I was going to make black raspberry jam. I was going to do all these things with them, right? Filled up the freezer with them. And then I got, my garden flu last year. And I was like, I was too tired to do anything. And then we found out it was because I was sick. So now I've got all of those berries, and I'm going to enjoy them in my muesli or muslix, however you want to say it. And I'm going to enjoy it in other things. I just won't be able to make the cobblers like I used to. But I need to make maybe some sugar-free black raspberry preserves. Someday I want to have blackberry and raspberry bushes, says Heather Lynn. And Gail says, I want to add 2 more strawberry plants so it can take over my raised planter. I have a friend in town, and she does very, very well with her strawberries, and she has them in a raised bed. So many strawberry plants. My first year, I tried my strawberry plants in straw bale gardening. Didn't work. The next year, I tried my strawberry plants in my raised buckets. And I think, 1 strawberry, maybe 2. I also tried them in my big garden stock. They didn't really do that great. And I had 1 pot of them in front of the front window, and that's where our turkey Monica used to fly over the fence, come over, and she would get up on the chair where I had the bush growing in the seat of the chair, my strawberry plants. And she would sit there, and it was so endearing. I couldn't kick her off. She would love to just fly up on there and look in the house and watch us have our coffee in the morning. And she would stop by every morning and say hello. Then she would poop all in it, and I think she probably killed them off. I have a golden raspberry cane, which is so yum. I don't know that I've ever had golden raspberries. I thought these were blackberries because they're so dark, but I investigated, and just based on the characteristics of the leaves and the shape of the berry, I have black raspberries. So I will be doing something. I can't wait to get the fresh ones. I've got a whole bunch of them in the freezer. I have black currants, red currants that I got from a neighbor's farm. I've got the little tart cherries that I got from the neighbor's farm. And then I've got all of the black raspberries that I got from my farm. They're all in the freezer. And I need to do something with them this year. My freezer's full. So between the eggs that we didn't eat all winter that are in there and the fruit that I've got in there, now what am I going to do? Because I'm going to get more produce, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Currently, my strawberry plants are very neat looking. They will look better once I have some help thinning them out. Yes. Pure Pondering, good morning. Listening from work. Your voice is so nice to listen to while trying to stay focused. Well, thank you. Oh, Pure Pondering, Kate, right? Is that your name, Kate? Did I remember? I'm looking to see because I did take notes, but I don't know what I've done with them. I believe it's Kate. I think I might be right. Oh, black raspberries are great. A word I can't pronounce. Micah asked for a golden raspberry plant last month. It's in my little greenhouse. Yes, Kate, I remembered your name. You don't know what a big thing that is for me. Look when I do that. Look at my arms are still so like saying hello. Woo! They're getting better though. I'm doing exercises every day. Every day. I have my little weights and I'm doing exercises. Today, though, I woke up, guys, when I started doing things for my internet issues that I'm having. I realized I do need to call the orthopedic surgeon, and I either need to get another shot in this wrist or I need to see if they're going to do surgery on it. I am in so much pain all the time. And I was telling Papa Jim, we're planning these trips. And if we go somewhere where we want to rent bicycles or something, and he bought me a new bicycle, we're going to be going out on some bike rides. I can't rely on needing to brake and not being able to, grasp because this tendon right here. Oh, I'm in so much pain all the time. Not complaining. But I need to work on that. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with that hand. And you might see me all gimped up. We'll see. But as it is, I walk around like this all the time. I'll bring dinner out to Papa Jim. I'll say, here you go. Take the plate. It hurts. It's like, what's wrong with you? So my hand. He says, I work hard every day and I'm in pain and you don't see me gimping around. I was like, my hand. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad though that you've got that little raspberry plant in your greenhouse. That's something we're looking at maybe during this year as well. We're going to get the first thing I'm going to put out there in the chicken yard. I cannot. Polyphenols. Thank you. Take care of yourself and watch Bob and Brad's YouTube channel. They are physical therapists who show things we can do at home. I know what this is, and I have done the exercise. I do have physical therapy exercises to do with it. I either need to get another cortisone shot because the swelling is bad enough. It's that there's a tendon, the tendon that goes through a sheath on your wrist right here. And it works your thumb. It's the one that works your thumb. When you move your thumb, there's a tendon that goes through a sheath at the wrist. And I've been to physical therapy. I've got the exercises, but I will follow up with that channel. Thank you, Kate. And I did a lot of physical therapy and I went to the chiropractor. I did all kinds of homeopathy things and soakings and all that stuff. And it just never got any better. I finally gave in and I went to go see an ortho and gave me a cortisone shot. It felt much better for like 8 months. And then I jerked. I was doing something and I got startled and I did something and it just like woke right back up again. So I've been nursing this since like September. So I've been in pain for months and it's just not getting any better. It's getting worse. We got home yesterday to 2 little chicks hatched out and more eggs pipping. Oh, how fun. I love new little chicks on the farm. I love that. Yes, I'm going to get another shot. How do you freeze your eggs? Well, welcome in, Charlene Kane's mom. I hadn't seen that you were here. I'm sorry if I missed you. If you're just getting here, welcome. How do I freeze them? I've got videos. I'll tell you the short version. We crack our eggs. I use a little hand mixer blendy thing to mix my eggs all up. And then we freeze them in freezer bags. And some of them we put peppers and onions in them and cheese. So they're like already made little omelets. And we freeze them in those bags. I take them out the night before and we keep them in the bags and pop them right into a pot of boiling water. It steams the eggs. So if you've ever had sous vide eggs, they have that really nice creamy texture. They make sous vide eggs in the steamed little pockets. And what's really nice is when they cook, they form this nice little egg loaf, perfect, perfect little egg loaf that you can take out. It makes this perfect looking little omelet, or they roll up perfectly in a tortilla to make breakfast burritos. They are delicious. Hello, Grace and Fire. You've been watching for a hot minute on the TV, but I just grabbed my phone to say, hey, hello. Thank you. I watched your little short today on how to take out the winter air out of your tires. I loved it. I've already set back more eggs to put in the incubator once this batch finishes hatching. Oh, how fun. I want to get an incubator. We don't have one. I pick moments where I let the girls sit on a clutch and decide if they want to try. And so sometimes we have successes, sometimes we have failures. I just kind of let them do their own thing sometimes, but I'd love to have an incubator. Oh, and the Ann Lynn show just popped in. Guys, Ann Lynn show. They're going to have a show today, 2:00 Eastern. What time is it now? I can't tell. It's 11:47 Central. So they're going to be going on in about an hour or so. Going to have Yossi over from Israel. And I'm going to do my best, ladies, to be there. I do not have Wi-Fi here at the farm yet. They're going to have to put in a trouble ticket for me. I'm coming to you right now from my phone. So I will see if I can pop in for your live today. I would love to join you. I need to check out your low-carb meatball enchiladas. Oh, those were so good. Those were so good, Gail. They were just as yummy as regular enchiladas, but without the carbs. I loved it. You're excited to have Yossi back. And yes, Kate, it's so exciting about having an incubator. I need to get one. But right now I have over 30 chickens. Do I really need more chickens? Not really. I really don't need more chickens because right now I could have 100 chickens out there and be happy and even feed the eggs back to the whole family and neighbors and even to the pig. I'm not worried about the egg production. That would be fine. What I'm worried about right now is feed. With our current circumstances, I'm so worried that I'm going to have too many animals and not have access to enough feed. So I really don't want to add to right now until we figure out what's going on. I actually ran into one of my neighbors the other day, and we were discussing some of our concerns on our farms. And I told her, I said, my one worry is, she says, I know. I didn't even get it out of my mouth. She's like, I know. She goes, you're worried about how you're going to feed your animals with things going on right now. It's like, yeah, I've got my pantry filled up. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I know that for a set amount of time, at least, I know we won't starve. But what about my animals? So I'm a little worried about that. So, and how I am here, just so that everybody knows, and this is something that my brother has put on me for the last 8 years. And thankfully it hasn't come to this. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with pulling my hair off to the side today. You know what it is? I watched Sandra Bullock in a movie and she kept smoothing her hair and pulling it off and rolling it on the side. And I thought that's why I'm doing it. Well, stock up now while I can, but the thing is, living here on a farm, I can stock up, but there's only so many barrels I can put feed in before I have rodent issues, or, it's just a touchy thing where I have to find that balance, and it's something we're working on. But this neat thing that we're going to get for the chicken yard will help us with some of that. I'm so excited about it. But, she said, plant some things now, plant sunflower seeds, plant this, plant that, and that's great. That doesn't help me really quick. I keep thinking about selling the goats, but Micah gets upset if I mention it. So I have to figure out how to keep feeding them. I want to do some cross fencing and intensive graze. Anyways, let me get back to what my brother was saying about my animals here on the farm. He said shortly after we moved here, he says, you need to prepare yourself. The day might come that those might need to be food for you to survive. I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat animals. I don't eat any type of meat at all, and I haven't for over 10 years now. Well, I'm coming up on 10 years. And my animals are my pets, so I'm not going to. Now, if we came down right to it and we were starving, I would eat what I have to eat to survive, but I think I would be much more comfortable with Papa Jim getting me a squirrel that I'm not attached to than one of my girls. But I'm prayerful that we will not get to that point. But my brother keeps telling me, you need to think about that. It's like, I don't have to think about it today. So no, but I don't know what I'm going to do if I get to where I get to the point where my chickens need feed and I don't have it for them. And there's only so much I can grow in a short period of time. Jess over at Roots and Refuge uses old chest freezer to hold the animal feed. Yeah, we had one We had one. It was great. And it's what we do in the middle of the mouse plagues we had in Australia. I had one. If you add the DE, your feed, it helps with the rodents. Chest freezer is great. We had one, and it was in our barn when our barn collapsed, when we had some 60-mile-an-hour straight line winds. We had a little derecho blow through here and it took the barn. And I told the guys when they were clearing out the barn, when we were having the barn taken the rest of the way down, try to save my freezer. There was no saving it. It was a mess. So I need to get another one. But now, when I first started doing it here where we live, everybody's like, what do you mean you keep your food in a chest freezer? And well, now there's no chest freezers because everybody's doing it. I use galvanized trash cans. I do too. We have some galvanized trash cans. It's just a matter of thinking bigger in bigger terms than what we already have and getting those resources put in place so we can get the feed. It's a process. I know that sounds like an excuse, but it's just a process that we are working on. But I haven't gone out and gotten a whole pallet of feed yet. And luckily, or thankfully, the last time I did get some feed at our local farm store, it did come down a little bit. It was a little bit lower in price. Hello, Major. My hens are my pets, going to grow extra produce for the ladies. And that's what I'm doing too, is Glenda, what I was saying earlier is I'm rethinking my chicken yard. And if anybody followed me last year when I had, the whole influx of cucumbers, and I never wanted to see another cucumber again, I will be growing cucumber for my girls. And that way I can throw them those little treats when they need it. But the thought of processing them just to survive, I don't want to be doing that. My second paycheck of the month is when I get a month's worth of feed. Not much left after that. Yes. I go every week or every other week and I get the feed, and we keep it in the summer kitchen because it's easy for me to feed right there. It's easy for me to feed the coop kids. I got some extra feed this last time and we didn't get it into the barrels. And I got some scratch for the girls. There's a little hole at the bottom and it's draining out the scratch where a little mouse was helping himself. And I'm even the type of person where if I forget to dump my bucket of mop water and I find a mouse drowned it the next day, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, little guy. I don't want you living in my house. I'm sorry you had drowned in my bucket of mop water. Turnips too. I have those seeds. I have turnips, but you hate turnips. I don't like turnips, but they love them. Oh, I'll have to remember turnips. I'll tell you what they do love. They loved my beets and my spinach when they got into the beets the chickens got. The spinach my turkeys got, or vice versa. One of the two. Wiped out my entire planter. And it's like, you're lucky I love you. You're lucky I love you, little turkeys and little chickens, and deny you nothing. But I don't want you in my garden. But, most people be like, well, there went a whole crop of spinach and turkeys are done. They're gone. Not here. I can't do that to them. I can't do that to them. That's one of my major concerns is, how am I going to feed them? How am I going to feed them appropriately? Because not only do I not want to process them to feed my family, because that's my personal choice, but I don't want them to suffer if they don't have enough food either. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be one of those types of things. Chickens are scavengers and will eat rats, mice, and yep. Oh, yeah. Our girls free range in the orchard every day. And so they're able to, if a mouse goes out of my summer kitchen and goes to the chicken coop, which is attached, sorry, that's on them. They need to be careful what they're doing. I fully anticipate one day going over and reaching underneath a hen and finding an entire little flock of mice living underneath a hen because everybody gets along. But we've got the guineas to take care of the ticks, and they're able to eat any insects they want. They have a full acre that they just roam in the orchard and they get their own thing. I don't collect the pears off of the tree anymore like I used to. The first summer we lived here, I used to collect the pears, and now it's like I just let them fall. I leave them there and they fall, and the chickens hear it when it hits the ground and they just go running and they all eat the pears, and I just let them do that. And the same with the apple tree. We have an apple tree that they get the full harvest of the apple tree. We had 2 apple trees, but because of a really bad storm, we lost one. So yeah, they get all of that. Will it be enough to sustain them? Probably not. but I'm really excited about what we're going to be doing out there in the chicken yard. Not only the reconfiguration, but what we're going to buy for them. Yes, eggs and compost. Yep, absolutely. Hello, David Gray. Do the chickens need store-bought food if they free range and get garden scraps also? I supplement it. I mean, I give them a little every day, but also in my coop, I have a pot-bellied pig, so I can't just let him free range. I do supplement. I give them all of my garden scraps. I give them all of our food scraps. Because I'm vegetarian, they're not getting any meat. So anything that I have here goes out the bathroom window and they get to eat that. So if things came push to shove during the summertime, they'd probably be fine when I do have the garden and they do have things that they can get out of the orchard and they do have the insects and all that. During our harsh winters, they definitely have to be supplemented. So, do I overthink it? Do I overworry it? Probably. I'm sure that there are many instances where they'll be fine, but I still want to make sure that I've got those available. The donkey, I'm not worried about the donkey. The donkey, I've got several stacked high and wide of alfalfa for him. My neighbor gives her chickens all of the food scraps, including meats. I since I don't eat meat and I don't cook meat in this house, they don't get meat. So everything they get is vegetable or plant-based or breads. So I like to, and they know that the bathroom window is from whence treats come. They know if somebody's in the bathroom, they watch for you. Down in the orchard, they watch. If there's movement in that bathroom window, they all come running because they know at different times of the day, the window opens up and scraps get thrown to them. It's one of my favorite things to do is to, throw all the little things through them out the bathroom window. But we'll see. I'm hoping I don't have to worry about it. And the thing is, too, is if things get really bad, there are plenty of farmers around here. I'm sure I can get a farmer to part ways with, 50 pounds of corn here or 100 pounds of corn there because they have bushels upon bushels upon bushels. I did a video in, I think it was September, and it was my bucket list item to ride in a combine. I got to ride in one of those big combines, and we went through the cornfields and collected the corn. And that was so neat. And when I was done riding in the combine, the man who owns the co-op, he says, "Do you want to see how all of it works?" I was like, yes. So I got to go to where all the big grain bins are and learn a lot. And you would be amazed. Here I'm just asking for if I can maybe get 50 pounds or 100 pounds if things get really, really bad. But it's like, okay, this bin here holds this many bushels. There's 55 pounds in a bushel. I did the math when I got home. It's like, this bin holds over 12 million pounds of corn. So I know I'll be able to get, even if I go, if things get rough, I can even go to where they have some spillage when they fill the trucks from the co-op to the trucks to go get processed. You can grind that up and eat it. So what are your favorite breeds of chickens for backyard egg layers? I think Ann Lynn's leaving because they're going to get ready for their show soon. So David Gray, my personal favorite for where I live, it really depends on your geographical area, what chickens you get. I love Buff Orpingtons. They're a very nice, hearty chicken. They handle the cold well, wonderful layers. And I also love Barred Rock, the Plymouth Barred Rocks, the little black and white ones. I love those. They have been great girls. Love them a lot. This year, I have a new breed, and we did not lose any over the harsh winter. And we had, we get negative degrees here, plus the wind chill. Like one night when we lost power here at the house, the wind chill was negative 35. So the girls have handled being really, they do well with the cold temps, these particular ones. What I got this last year was Wells Summers, and they're a breed from Holland. They've been great with laying their eggs. They're very, they're not cuddly chickens. They're a little standoffish, but they're not mean either. I just kind of let them do their thing. The Plymouth Barred Rocks, they're a little bit more, come and get my lap, and they come and visit with me. Chicken eats bugs, so you could actually grow bugs to feed them supplement during the winters and hard times. That is a good point, Roberta. Absolutely. I don't know that I can do that. I'm having a hard enough time getting ready to do my Grub Terra video because it's still something that was alive that is now dead that I'm going to have to handle. I'm weird. I know. I'm doing it again. It's like I'm missing comments and I'm trying to scroll on my laptop, which I'm on my phone. For me, it's a colored egg thing and the weather. I refuse to buy chickens that lay white eggs. Reminds me of the grocery store. I will rescue a chicken that lays white eggs, by the way. But for backyard layers, depending on your climate, I'm very, very cold. The Buff Orpingtons, the Barred Rocks, and I'm really enjoying the Well Summers this year. I did have a Rhode Island Red I had for a few seasons. She did really, really well. Something happened to her. I'm not sure what happened to her, but we lost her one year. She was my only, she was my only Rhode Island Red. She was a really sweet girl. So I have not found any chickens that I don't like. I do like them. And I'm not good. Love you lots, Jelly Tots. Oh my God, I've never heard that and I love it. Mom wants to get Micah more laying hens. She wants blue lace red Wyandottes. Oh my gosh. I just put a video out about how I actually went to the farm store and left without getting any chickens, any chicks. Because if you let me loose in the farm store and they've got chicks, chicks are coming home. I can't help it. And they go in my bathtub if I don't have anything else set up for them. I'm very impulsive that way. And I went to the store the other day and they had the new batch chicks in and they had lots of great breeds. And I said to the guy, I said, do you have any silver lace Wyandottes? And he's like, I don't think so. And it's like, whew, okay, because if they would have had lavender Orpingtons or silver lace, I would have left with chicks in the truck. I would have done it. I like the brown eggs and the green eggs and the blue eggs. I do love the colored eggs. I did have a girl. Now see, all of my chickens are named Betty. Every single one of my girls are named Betty. And I did have one white leghorn and her name was Betty White. And we lost her our first year. She got egg bound. But I missed Betty White terribly. But it was so cute because I got her in just a mixed batch and I only got one little white chicken. But all of my girls are named Betty and all of my boys are named Archie. So we have Betty and Archie. Okay, Nisi, you have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by and spending time with me. I appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow for our crochet along, even if I have to do it from my phone. And if my hands are sideways and upside down, we will still go through that. We'll make it work. Here in Ohio, I raised some Turkins, silver and golden lace Wyandottes, Rhode Island Reds, Easter Eggers, Plymouth White Rock, Barred Rocks, and Leghorns. I loved them all. Oh, how can you not love them all? I love them all. One of my Easter Eggers lays a pink egg. Miss Coco, she is a diva, fits her perfectly. I love it. I have no idea who lays what. When my flock was smaller, I knew who laid what. I knew which Betty was laying which speckled egg or colored egg. I could keep them pretty straight. My issue right now is my guineas. I know my guineas are laying, but where are they laying? Because they like to hide their eggs. They don't go in the nesting boxes. They like to hide their eggs. If you find where their eggs are and you take the eggs, they'll find a new location and lay them somewhere else next time. And I think what's happening is because I let them free range, they're laying out in the orchard and I think the pig finds them and the pig's eating them and that's okay. All of our current layers lay brown or various shades of green. The eggs in the incubator are barnyard mix. Yeah, that's how I get some of my chicks that way. A neighbor will say, I just incubated and hatched a bunch of chicks. Do you want them? It's like, come on over. I said, where are they? I don't know. Okay, they can come over. You know, the only chicken we lost this year is, and I'm sad to announce it because I don't know what happened and I loved him so much, but we did lose Porter. Porter was our little bantam rooster, and we had him for almost a year. I loved him. He was bigger than life. He thought he was bigger than the turkeys, and he would stand out there, and all the Archies would crow, and he'd go, eh, eh, eh. This little crow. And he sounded so cute, but he'd puff up and he'd crow, and we always loved seeing Archie. And one day Papa Jim opened up the coop door and he was just there. And we don't know if it wasn't a terrible cold day and he didn't appear to be frozen. I don't know if he just wasn't allowed to sleep with the girls and maybe he did get a little bit chilled. Wasn't crushed or injured. There was no evidence. Down on it just happened in the past. So I don't know what happened to him, but we lost our little porter. I was a little sad. Jeff of Bobblehead Homestead showcases the eggs his hens have laid, and he can tell you each chicken's heritage. Can't wait to eat the place and chicken. You see here, I'm trying to scroll on my left. I need to go up here and see. Mom got all the eggs because she wanted to have green eggs and ham. Yeah, we lost for because he was white and black and named Dolly Parton. Go with each breed of chicken. I'm glad you do that. I'm losing on. I can see that. I think the college and it's been 2 hours. Excellent.